Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Queen Sugar Season 2, Episode 4, and the name of this episode is My Soul's High Song. This was more of like a filler episode for me, but it was a very good episode because there's a lot of things that went down in this episode, and I was here for everything because it's really starting to show, the direction and where the borderlands are going with the farm and everything else. So let's get started. The first person I'm going to talk about is Nova. Now, we actually got to see Nova as a spiritual advisor, where she actually did the blessing on these two twins, and it was very beautiful. And we also saw that before that, Nova. We all know that Nova's a journalist, but then she also sells weed, and she's also a spiritual advisor. So we see when she actually goes to to see her editor, we come to see that they now have a new editor at the publishing house, and he wants Nova to change her narrative, because he says that, I followed your work, you really do some real explicit, content, but, I want you to kind of talk about the positive side of things, not always the negative. But Nova is like, look, the narrative is a narrative. I don't do entertainment. I don't do gossip. I'm not all about the glitz and the glam of just saying things to make people feel good. I speak the truth, and I speak to the issues that most people are not speaking about. But he's saying that, yeah, that's fine, but can you also kind of spin it where you can also talk about some positive sides of things, not always the negative and the bad that's going on in the world or in Louisiana. Can you talk about the good? So we see she actually takes this approach, and she actually talks to, I think, like a DA, and that DA was very nasty to Nova, and she was like, I don't know what you're trying to sell, but I'm not buying it, because normally you coming up in here berating us and talking all loud, and now you want to try to play nice. Like, look, at the end of the day, you have done nothing but bash, the police department and mass incarceration and all of that, and, at this point, nobody in here in this department is going to talk to you. So good luck on you finding your narrative, and good luck on you on your endeavors or whatever. And just blatantly dismissed Nova and walked out. And I was like, the wheels started turning in Nova's head, and she's like, well, damn, here it is, I try to play nice, and the shit didn't work anyway, so I should just continue being who I am and continue to be myself. And it finally dawned on her at that moment, because she can't play nice now, as far as the police department, they have already done sink their teeth in, and even if her trying to be nice, they're not going to buy it. So we saw that was going on with Nova. Now, the next people I'm going to talk about is Hollywood and Vi. I'm actually going to talk about the meat of the episode after that. But Hollywood and Vi, are pretty much, doing anything together. Hollywood is restless because he has fixed everything in the house, and now he doesn't have anything to do. He's one of those men, and I relate to that, a man who just wants to work, who wants to do something. You're not the type of person who just wants to sit back and not do anything. But Vi lets him know that, look, you got money in the bank. You don't need to work for anybody. You got enough to live off of. Won't you just relax? Won't you just, take some time off? But Hollywood wants to do something. So we see later on that Hollywood visits Vi at the diner, and we remember that Vi is now the manager there. And he sees her working and everything, and he sees that she interacts with one of her friends who wants her to do some cooking for her, because Vi can cook her butt off. And Hollywood was like, I can help, I can do something, and they both kind of gave her that look like, please let us do this. I thought it was really cute. So we see that Hollywood does that, but then later on, Hollywood goes and joins the rest of the family, to handle the situation at the farm, which I'm going to talk about. And we see that the last scene that that Hollywood and Aunt Vi had when they were in bed together, you know, he pretty much opened up. He said that, look, I'm a person that likes to do things. I'm a person who likes to make things happen. You know, I'm a worker. You know, that's who I am at heart. You know, I'm not the type that you just sit around not doing nothing. I have to do something. But then he had said, well, what about you, Vi? I mean, are you happy working at the diner? And she's like, look, I worked hard for that promotion, so it's okay. He's like, yeah, I know that you worked hard for that promotion, but I can see in your face you're not happy. You're not happy working at the diner. But you are happy when you're in your kitchen and you're making your meals or you're making desserts. I see that happiness comes out of you when you're in your own kitchen. So what's your dream, baby? And she lets him know that, you know, I've always wanted to do my own cooking and maybe run my own business. And Hollywood lets her know we are not too old to make our dreams come true. And I was so here for that because I live by that myself. You know, I'm trying to build my platform and trying to be somebody too. And it's like, what better way to work than to work for your own self, to work for you? And he was saying that, look, we can do this. You know, we're not too old to chase our dreams. You know, so I'm thinking this is going to be interesting to see Vi develop her own business. And I can definitely see that Charlie and the whole preface of them rebuilding the farm is starting to rub off on Hollywood and Vi, and they're now being industrial, and now they want to do their own thing. So I think it's great, like Charlie living with Vi, she's starting to see that business side of Charlie, and now she wants to tackle that and maybe try to do her own business. So it's great, this whole idea of being industrial and being self-made was actually shown in that scene, and I, for one, am trying to do the same for myself. So it definitely hit home for me, and I was so here for that. Now, this is the meat of the episode. We actually see that on the farm, there's some white flies that starts to attack the sugarcane, and they can actually destroy the cane and destroy the whole batch. And I think 30 acres was infected. So Charlie gets pesticides to actually spray over the entire, spray over the rest of the sugar cane and also on the affected cane. You know, it killed the white flies, but then if you don't clean the sugar cane, it can grow fungus. So we see that they pretty much get a whole team together, to actually wash down all of the sugar cane that was infected. So therefore the cane can be saved. So, but then again, that caused, issues in and of itself. And I'm definitely going to get to that in a minute, but mainly what I want to talk about in this moment is the situation involving Charlie and Ralph Angel. Now that Charlie has moved out of Vi's house, she's moved in at the farmhouse with Ralph Angel and Blue, and her and Micah are living there. And we already see that Micah is still affected by what happened to him at the police department. We still don't know exactly what happened to him, but we know something went down, because he's still kind of shut off, and now he's becoming really snappy to Blue, because normally he's very playful with Blue. Blue actually took his notebook and actually did some art on it, and he's like, what I tell you about messing with my stuff? And then all of a sudden we see Blue, like, I'm sorry, and I'm like, poor baby. Like, why the hell you yelling? Why the hell you yelling at your little cousin like that? But we all know what's going on with Micah. So then we see another scene where Micah's at the table doing his homework. Charlie and Ralph Angel at the table. They're talking about the business and everything. Pretty much what happened was that little Blue walked up to like Micah's book or whatever, and the next thing you know, Micah just had this knee-jerk reaction, and he hits Blue and knocks him down, and Blue starts crying. Man, Ralph Angel flipped. He literally, pinned Micah to the wall and was like, don't you ever put your hands on my son. And then Charlie, pulled Ralph Angel off of him. It's like, are you crazy? Don't you ever put your hands on my son like that. So it's like now it's drama up in the house. And then, they pretty much separate, but then later on we see that Ralph Angel and Charlie talk with each other. And, you know, Charlie's saying that, look, you know, I'm sorry that he hit Blue, but at the end of the day, this is not like him. You know, I think what happened to him, you know, in prison has had an effect on him. You should know what it's like, Ralph Angel. And Ralph Angel began to really get nasty with Charlie. He was like, don't compare my 4 years in prison to his 4 hours. The problem ain't the fact that he was locked up. The problem is how you and Davis raised him. Y'all raised him in this privileged environment. He pretty much got everything he ever wanted. And the problem is that Micah's soft. So he don't know how to deal with no real shit. And that's the problem, the way y'all raised him. Y'all raised him in this pompous, bougie environment, and that's his whole idea of how the way the world works. So he really don't know what it's like to, you know, in a way, he was kind of saying he don't know what it's like to, you know, he doesn't know what it's like to be black. But I'm like, Ralph Angel, you was dead wrong for that shit, because at the end of the day, it's not Micah's fault that he grew up privileged. And we kind of see that was the whole thing with Charlie throughout this episode, was that she was too bougie, because that's exactly what Ralph was saying about Micah, that he's soft because he grew up in a bougie environment. But we kind of see that was also going on with Charlie, because we see that Charlie and Remy, she takes Remy with her to go look at this property, and you can tell it's very upscale, and it's, you know, outside, it's pretty much more in the city. You know, it's not in the country by where the farm is. Now, also to let you know that there is a loft space at the mill where she can live out of, but she wants to turn that into an office space. But she wants to look at this really high-end place because it's closer to Micah's school. But Remy had to kind of give her a reality check. Now, I actually can say they were both right in the situation, but I definitely understood more where Remy was coming from. He was saying that, look, you are telling these farmers to leave the Boudreaux and to leave the Sandries and to come join you. They are risking their livelihood to actually do business with you. What makes you think they're going to do business with you if you are living in this high society or whatever, and you're living in this, you know, if you continue to live this bougie lifestyle, how are you going to be able to relate to them when they, you know, are looking to you to understand where they're coming from and why it's necessary, you know, for them to feed their families? What makes you think they're going to rely on you if you keep coming off as this bougie princess? But then Charlie flipped it and was like, well, look, just because, like, she's like, look, I worked very hard for what I have, so why should I have to, you know, change the way I'm living just because some other MF's got a problem with it? You know, I worked hard for what I have, so if I want to live a better life, I should be able to live it. So why is it that, you know, the black community sees you as a sellout, you know, because you're successful and you choose to live better and to have better? Like, so why is that my fault? So she had a point, but then again, Remy saying that, look, if you really want to connect with the people, you need to be there with the people. You can't be, you know, distant from the people and think that these people are going to relate to you. And we actually see that in the scene when they were actually cleaning the fungus, they were betting that Charlie wasn't going to do it. Like, you know how Charlie is, and that Charlie, you know, is bougie. She don't want to get her hands dirty. We were betting that you weren't going to clean nothing. And Charlie began to feel some kind of way about that, because now she's starting to see that's how they view her. That they see her as this bougie princess. Yeah, she's a good person and she means well, but then again, she thinks she's too good to be around us common folk. And even some of the farmers are starting to say it as well. So she's starting to see what Remy was talking about. But then also what's going on here, Ralph Angel calls Darla at her job and says that he needs her to come there to help them to clean the sugar cane. The more the merrier. They need everybody. So she tries to call her boss. She tries to tell her boss that she wants to get off early because she wants to do something with her boyfriend. And he was like, your love life is your business, and you need to deal with that on your own time. So you need to stay here for the remainder of your shift. But then we see that Darla actually showed up, and she was there helping to clean the sugar cane. But I'm gonna get back to that because that definitely comes back later. And in the midst of all of this, we see Ralph Angel is still being an asshole, to Charlie. And he pretty much, and you can tell, and Aunt Vi immediately spotted it, because now Ralph Angel and Charlie really aren't speaking to each other. It's like they both kind of got their walls up when it comes to one another. And Ralph Angel starts talking to Vi and lets Aunt Vi know that, I'm about to let her know I'm about to really let her know what time it is. She thinks she better just because she got a few degrees in her belt, and she thinks her word is always law, and that nothing I say really matters. And I'm about to let her know what's really going down. I really want to let her know who's really running this, because at the end of the day, she's staying up in my house and working on my farm. And I'm like, oh really, Ralph Angel? We starting to feel, as soon as you read that letter, like, oh, all of a sudden now we starting to see this shit's starting to really get to you. And Aunt Vi's like, what do you mean? This home was left to all three of you, so she has just as much right to be in this house as you do. And he's like, yeah, but as far as she knows, but I know different. So he finally shows that letter, the letter that, Ernest's last will and testament. He shows it to Aunt Vi. Aunt Vi was like, boy, you want to stir up something bad between you and your sisters if this gets out. And he's like, well, look, I'm tired of Charlie thinking she run everything. I'm tired of Charlie thinking she calls all the shots. It's about time that I finally have some say-so in how I do things, and how you think it's going to feel when she realized that Daddy left everything to me. He ain't leave nothing to them. And I'm like, Ralph Angel, I know you kind of feeling your manhood right now, but let's be real, bruh. You don't have any money. So if you do this crap, you will literally be back at square one where Ernest was in season 1, with no money and no backing. So you need Charlie. Little do you think. You need her. And Aunt Vi got it. She was like, look, I'm going to be real with you. This is going to be some crap, and you're going to cause a war between you and your sisters if this gets out. But at the end of the day, you're a grown man. You're going to do what you want to do. But I'm going to let you know, if your pride and your ego wants to write that check, you better sure better be ready. And she's like, if your pride and your ego can write that check, you better make sure that your ass can cash it. And I was like, Aunt Vi, you got my vote. Because Aunt Vi, I just love Aunt Vi because she is like the patriarch of the family. And she's that one that just has this wisdom, just pure natural wisdom, and she throws it out there. She even does it with Charlie too, and with Nova. She is just an innate, intelligent woman, and she throws those things out there to make you think. So when she threw that out there to him, that kind of made him think, like, yo, you feeling yourself right now, but think about what's going to be the outcome of it. And you need to be ready to deal with that if this is what you want to do. You can write this check, but your ass better be able to cash it, because there's going to be some backlash from it. And the funny thing about it is that later on, we get a situation at the house. The police knocks on the front door. Micah immediately gets shook, and he goes in the room with Blue. They open the door. They're looking for Ralph Angel. And they was about to take him to jail for violating his parole, because they said they heard gunshots, and that it got. So I'm pretty sure it was the Boudreaux who did that. Who kind of called that in, that because he had shot at them or whatever, and they pretty much said that Ralph Angel violated his probation. So Ralph Angel was about to get arrested, but Charlie decides to take in and decides to take the rap and saying that, look, that gun is mine. I'm the one who shot the gun. I'm actually moving out tomorrow. I saw something. I'm kind of the city girl. And she played bougie. So her being bougie worked to her benefit in this situation, and it saved Ralph Angel's ass because she let it be known, yeah, I was the one who shot the gun. I thought I saw a rat or something, and I just freaked out. You know how it is. And she played bougie, and the cops, fell for it. And he was like, okay, but make sure you take that gun with you when you leave. So Charlie's like, well, so I guess it means I'm about to move out. So. And due to the fact she has nowhere to go, she does have the loft at the mill, so she's gonna live there. And she pretty much said that, look, regardless of how the way you feel about me, Ralph Angel, I will always have your back. I swear you can buy him for a penny, because he felt that big after that. Because here it is, you've been talking all this crap. And you were talking about, throwing that letter that Ernest wrote in her face that you own everything, but at the end of the day, she saved your ass. Because if she didn't take blame for that, they were gonna arrest you for shooting a gun because it was a violation to your parole. So now Ralph Angel realizes that, Charlie actually is in my corner. So here it is, I got all this hostility against her. She pretty much put herself on the line for me. And did it by being bougie. The main thing that everybody was making fun of her about, we actually see that's one of her greatest advantages. And then we actually see that he finally talks to Micah, they make up, and Micah says that, look, I'm sorry for hitting Blue, even though it was an accident, it should not have happened. And he says that, no, you need to talk to Blue yourself and you need to apologize to him. And, but he says but he lets them know that, look, I've been through some crap. But he says that, look, when you were born, you were like my little brother. But then you and your family moved to California. Wasn't getting to California. They weren't coming to Louisiana. So I really haven't seen you all these years. So I'm really getting to know you. But I'm letting you know I've been through a lot of crap. I've been through some shit. But I'm here for you whenever you need me. You can talk to me about anything. I will always be supportive. But then he says that, look, you need to talk to Blue and you need to apologize to Blue for yourself. And we see that Micah does apologize to Blue, because Blue was like, don't worry, I won't touch your things. I'll ask if you want to play. He's like, you don't have to ask me to want to play, little man. And he's like, I'm really sorry for putting my hands on you, even though it was an accident and it should not have happened. And I'm sorry I hurt you. And he buys him an Etch-a-Sketch, and Blue just hugged him. And I was like, Blue is he's a really sweet little boy, and he's very loving. And he's very forgiving, because he knows at the end of the day Micah's not a bad person. And him and Micah have a great connection. I mean, they're first cousins, and they pretty much, Blue is like Micah's little brother. Kind of the same relationship that Ralph had with Micah when he was little. You were like a little brother to me. And you kind of see that's the same relationship that Micah has with Blue. So we saw that was good. But yeah, going back to what I said about Darla decided to leave her job to go clean the fungus with the whole crew. So when she got back to work, her boss gave her her last paycheck and told her that you fired. And she kind of broke down and was like, look, I need this for my recovery. I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to work extra hours. I'm willing to work nights, whatever. Just don't fire me. And he said that, yeah, this job was about your recovery, but also your recovery is also about you making decisions and then living with the consequences of those decisions. So due to the fact that you chose to leave your job when you were on the clock, after I told you not to, you violated your actual place here. So either leave now or I'll get security to remove you. And I'm like, see, in a way it's a blessing, because the guy, her boss was an asshole. And we saw him in season 1. He was really mean. He didn't even want to let her off when it came down to picking up Blue. When it came down to Ernest's funeral. So it's just like, girl, you better off. But we're going to see what's going to happen with Darla. Is Darla going to relapse and go back into her mess, or is she going to find a better opportunity? So we're going to be tuned in to see what happens with that. But yeah, that's my review, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with you for the next episode of Queen Sugar. So until then, everybody, take care.